Half-Life 2 with RTX was announced just this week, and yet my excitement for it was immediately halted, as it wasn't Valve who made the announcement, but rather Nvidia who made the announcement as part of their RTX Remix system. Now, before we get into why I'm a little bit disappointed and skeptical about this video is brought to you by us over at TechLionPCs.com, where you can check out our store for custom mid-range builds, along with our consolation page, where you can fill in whether you'd like an upgrade, a new build, a pre-built PC, along with a budget, and we'll work with you on the PC of your choice. Check us out again over at TechLionPCs.com. Now, I'd like to preface this by saying that Half-Life 2 is one of my favorite series and games that I have ever played. I've played all the episodes, I've played even the Half-Life 2 VR mod that a person released. I've even played Half-Life 2 Alyx, which is one of the main reasons I even bought a Quest 2 to begin with. So you could say that I really just love this series. I've even gone backwards and played the Half-Life 1 RTX re-release that came out earlier this year, as well as Black Mesa earlier this year as well. Absolutely love the series, can't recommend it enough. However, Half-Life 2 RTX's re-release is a community-led project utilizing Nvidia's newer RTX Remix system, which from the trailer that we see here gives us an incredible amount of detail as we see the camera moving through and showing off new shaders, lightings, updated models, and reflections within Dr. Kleiner's labs. However, unless you're in one of the incredibly small amount of people that owns a 40 series Nvidia graphics card, this likely will just become an unplayable experience for you. And this is practically because it requires the NVIDIA's 40 series Deep Learning Super Sampling 3 just to have the frames that are necessary just to play the game at something of an enjoyable level. Now, if we turn back the clock to sometime late last year, we had another release on the same engine with Portal RTX, in which at the time I played it using an RTX 3070 and determined that this was essentially an unplayable experience on this card, which at the time its MSRP was $500 and it couldn't even play the game at all because I didn't have the use of Deep Learning Super Sampling 3. So in order to even have what some would consider a playable frame rate, which in my opinion is still going to be 60 FPS minimum for any kind of title on PC, especially a first-person game, you needed to have a 40 series card. Now currently in this PC, I'm utilizing the best competitor GPU that's out there against Nvidia, the AMD RX 7900 XTX, a GPU that I would consider to be something on par with Nvidia's RTX 4080, minus the use of the DLSS 3 and about $200 cheaper. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to jump into Portal RTX with the 7900 XTX and see how even this beast of a card fares against a title using RTX Remix without the function of DLSS 3. Alright, so we've gone ahead and already jumped into Portal with RTX. Now just for some reference, the resolution I'm running at is my monitor's resolution, which is going to be 1440p. Now if we look over in the top left corner over here, we can see that we're running on the main menu alone, barely even an actual game, 51 frames per second, right? So I haven't even jumped into the game yet. Now let's go ahead and open up the RTX Remix menu over here once again, and we can see that the graphic preset is currently set to low. This is the lowest setting, mind you, 7900 XTX here, right? If we go ahead and put this over to Ultra, we're going to see that our frame rate is now going to drop very well below over here. We're now at like 37, and we are running the super sampling resolution. We do have like a NVIDIA version 1, the NVIDIA image sampling, but we don't have DLSS 3 like we would if we had a 40 series card in this list. And I like to run the TAAU instead because it looks less jaggy. And even if you put this over to performance mode, it does jump us up to 60 FPS over in performance mode on the main menu. I'd like to stress that out again. So let's go ahead and just load up a level here real quick. Last time I was playing it, September 13, so we got some, little graphical settings here. And what the hell is going on here with my portal gun? It looks awful. On top of that, I'm running at 34 FPS here, but we are getting the fancy visuals, the fancy reflections, but my portal gun looks gross. Let's go ahead and take the presets over here, put this over to low, which is now going to kind of make this whole system pointless here. But even on low with our super resolution set over to performance, we're getting 52, 53 FPS over here. Kind of low for what we're trying to do. It's like, what's even the point of doing this? This is on a 7900 XTX once again. The best graphic card that AMD has to offer. The best 30 series graphic card has just like worse performance than this. This is a 40 series exclusive kind of game that we would see here in order to get any kind of frame rate that's out of this. And this is going to be running on the same source engine that Half-Life 2 is going to be running on to. So even if I mess with any of these settings here, we're currently at the lowest setting possible that this even allows, and we're still not getting above 60 FPS in gameplay. And that makes it a really hard sell. And if you checked over in those Steam reviews for Portal RTX, you're going to have a similar story of people complaining like, oh my god, this doesn't play well like at all. And that's kind of the main rub. So as much as I want to see the RTX remix version of Half-Life 2 with updated visuals, with all these updated widgets and whatnot, if it can't run properly, even on like last generation hardware or the best current generation AMD hardware, then what's even the point outside of it trying to be used as a tool to just sell 40 series graphic cards? And that's, so far, we're only going to see 2 games that are going to be running this feature, and that's going to be Portal with RTX that we're trying to run over here, and Half-Life 2 with RTX Remix that turns on. Now, if I were to just go nuts on it, and just, let's say, go back to Ultra, and let's say, let me just turn off our super resolution real quick, right? Look at what happens now. The game is awful. Like, it doesn't even run properly. Now we're running it at 11 FPS at this point. So this is an unrunnable mess at this point when it comes to, at least with AMD graphics cards. I would assume the Intel ones are going to have a much worse time than this. Let me try turn on the super resolution again. And in order to even get the blocky mess that we see in the Portal gun turn off, we would have to put it down over to medium. So again, that will disable most of our fancy bits that are on here. So this is it's not very good, unfortunately. And I hope that when the Half-Life 2 with RTX that's on it, like I hope that they fix a lot of this, especially when it comes to that release. I would gladly replay it if it became a playable product on last gen and current gen AMD cards as well. Now let's not forget that since the last time we ran Portal RTX back in December, Nvidia has released a few cheaper 40 series graphic cards with the 4060 graphic cards, which do go for as low as $290 to $300 US for the 4060. However, these cards are so outperformed by last generation 30 series graphic cards at the same price range or even cheaper that it kind of make them near worthless for most people to use when you can buy 30 series graphic cards that run everything else better, with the exception of not having DLSS 3. So what do you folks out there think? Do you think that this RTX remix is going to finally fix those performance issues, at least with Half-Life 2? Do you think it's completely fair that this only really works on 40 series NVIDIA graphic cards? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is Leo from Tech Lion signing out.